Lightworkers Unite is a podcast and social show hosted by intuitive women, lightworkers, and most importantly, friends, Mayume and Manjeet. Welcome to our podcast, Lightworkers Unite, where we believe there is a lightworker within all of us.
Whether you are a medium, an educator, or a nuclear medicine technologist, there is a lightworker within you, and we have work to do.
This is a safe and sacred place where lightworkers connect, grow, and learn.
And share our light with the world. Well, hello.
Hi there. How's it going, sis?
Oh my gosh, so great. Are you loving this heat?
Well, I do. It feels like summer, even though I'm sweating.
Oh,
Feels
I
like
know.
summer. Do you like it?
I am in heaven.
Okay.
I fucking love it. I can't get enough of the heat. I love the way when I like sweat, I feel so good. It's like detoxing. I love the warm wind. I've been sitting on our deck for, I
warm
just love
wind. Yeah, I don't know if I like warm wind. I like cool wind. Not cold, but cool. Warm wind sounds hot, but like a blow dryer. But
yeah. Oh my God, I know. It must be the Indian in me. I swear. I can't get enough of it. It's like, it does feel like home, like it was like when I was in Barcelona on that beach, I think we talked about it on our vacation episode.
Yeah.
But just being on that beach and kind of looking across the water and knowing that was Africa, over there.
Right.
And I was, in Spain, I just felt so like it was home. Yeah. Like I felt like I belong here. Like I can't even explain. And it was this warm wind, like off the water even. That was it was so cool. And it was very salty. Like it was just because the water's so salty, Yeah. It just felt like crazy. Like I belong there, It was like I had a sacred contract to be in that place.
Right.
You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like those divine moments.
What exactly is a sacred contract? My friend?
I know. Well, there's so many schools of thought about that, right? So
what's yours?
Yeah. Well, let me pull up my little presentation because I have like a little, we're doing a intuitive women's circle next week, right? No, on the July 6th and 7th is my intuitive women's circle. So in a couple of weeks. Yeah. So I think, and this is kind of based on Carolyn Myss, Mace.
Mm-hmm.
Mace. Sorry. So we are getting correction on how to say the name properly. Her beautiful name, and she's an amazing, beautiful woman who's written some really awesome books. So if you haven't heard of her, you can totally Google her. She's amazing.
She's amazing, and she does tons of courses and classes.
Yes,
so cool, very cool stuff.
Just brilliant. And I just love this concept of this like this soul contract, right? This soul agreement, this kind of like what are we doing here? What is this about? So it kind of adds the why and not only the why, but the how. How are we functioning in this planet? And one of the definitions of a soul contract is it's essentially an agreement that you make before you come down to the planet. Right? That there's this other kind of dimension. And this is where we make create the understanding of what is the contract? What is it that I really want to experience on this planet? What do I want to learn? What is the impact that I want to have in the world? And also like, what is my mission? My soul purpose. So before the contract is created, there's a kind of like this alliance that starts once you make the contract of how you want to live and what you want to learn on the planet. Your soul guides and your spirit guides start to empower that on the planet. Right? They start to really help you decide what are those life lessons that you want to live on the planet. How do you want to be impactful to yourself and also in your own personal spiritual evolution, but also for the evolution of others spiritually. How are you making an impact with others? And so I just love that concept that, what we're doing here is divine, and it's actually on your terms. And that your
Right.
spirit, the spirit world, really wants to help you and support you in your spiritual evolution. Yeah. Is
I
that
agree
kind
with
of,
you. That's my understanding, or my part of my learning as well
yeah.
from the last, 20 something years. Um, Working with other spiritual teachers, as well as the books and the courses, and and
Yeah.
Carolyn Myss is one of them. Uh, I find it really interesting, and so I would love to really get into this and think, okay, so let's say my soul contract, or let's for instance say this. Let's just go into it even deeper. Let's take my dad's soul contract. In
Yeah.
his soul contract, I'd love to know, and of course I kind of know the answer now. But when someone is murdered or their life was taken and it wasn't of their choice, that we have free will, by the way, everyone, in these soul
Hmm.
contracts, even though we say, I'm going to do this is my life purpose, I want to work on these lessons. And then you get here and like you see what shade of skin you are, you see where you are, where you've been dropped on this planet geographically, who your parents are, what financial situation or state
Yeah.
you're in, what your physical body might be. Maybe you're born with, an ailment or something. So all those factors, but yet we still have free will. That's something
Yeah.
that's really important. We still have free will, which is why sometimes we get out of alignment, right? And derailed is a termite. We're off track. We're derailed from our
Yeah.
life purpose and what we agreed upon. But when someone actually, where you have no control and takes your life, or takes someone you love, or brings in some sort of change of course of what you think you're on course, is that part of the contract? Right? I'm
Hmm.
wondering how much of all of that plays into divine uh, roles and the divine contract. How much of that is already pre-planned, or is none of it, and because of everyone's free will has mucked it up? Like, what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah.
Is that
Yeah.
my question sounds blurry? Do you understand my
No, well,
question?
I think no, it's a big concept, right? It really is this
Yes,
big concept of,
it is.
like, what do we do because shitty things are happening in the world, right?
Yes,
Like, and so why would I make a contract to murder somebody? Like that doesn't make
yes,
logical sense.
it
But I
does.
think
Right.
what I've really learned by reading this book and kind of, working with people that have gone through a lot of stuff is that those actions are irrational on earth, right? And Carolyn talks about this in her book, but they make complete sense in the spirit world.
Mm.
You know, those crazy, fucking horrible tragedies. What if this is what she's proposing, right, in this book with the sacred contracts? Is what if this actually does make a lot of sense in spirit, and we on earth, we we don't understand that at the time. And
Oh,
that's part of our evolution, is to understand when really, really bad things happen. What are we learning? What was the contract there? What was the
yeah,
lesson for my personal spiritual evolution? You know? Um, and I think as humans, we the only way we really learn is through disruption, right?
yeah. I would agree
Like,
with that.
it's a
Unfortunately, right?
right. It's unfortunate. I think that's the piece that was really striking to me reading this book, and kind of I'm trying to understand the contracts and what it means and the hardships that we endure, is when things are happy and great, we're not necessarily learning a lot. Like we're learning a lot and we're living and we're happy, but it isn't until we have that disruption in our life that we really understand, holy fuck, what is the learning here? Like when I was diagnosed with
Yeah,
breast cancer, I mean, you hear the big cancer word and my whole life was disrupted massively.
yeah,
But I am a totally different person after it, I feel,
yep.
and so it makes me wonder, was that part of my contract, right? Was that part of my journey in this life to endure this hardship, to really do this, to be there and have, a partial mastectomy and a fucking radiation and, to really live through that pain, to really open myself up spiritually, because I really feel that um that was a real catalyst for me for really big change. And it sucked. It was fucking horrible. This. You were with me and walked with me that whole path, and you were a big part of my healing. Um and incidentally, I feel that we have a sacred contract together. That's why you were there for me in those moments, to help me say, Manjeet, you're going to be, we got this. Okay, let's do some
Mm-hmm.
healing. You walked me through profound healing, past life regression, opened my heart and my soul to this place where I was like, okay, number one, maybe I can do this. Number two, I need my guides. I need my
Yeah.
spiritual team. And you really helped me bring them to me as my spiritual coach and partner. So I think when I hear sacred contracts, I cannot help but think of you. I know
Oh,
you are part of that for me, part of that journey for me in my darkest time. You were this beacon, this light, this beautiful light worker, you know? So
yeah.
when I see sacred contracts, I think, wow, like, and that might be part of it too, is when we're going through the hardest times of our life, who are those people that come forward? Who are these angels that show up not only in the spirit world, but um, in
Earth angels.
person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Person. Yeah. Yeah. Right. And
You
so
know,
to get back to, so the horrible, terrible things that do happen, that kind of resonates with me. I don't, I mean, I'll take it. Listen to me. I'm like, I'll think about that. I'll take it that yes, we humans definitely, we were conditioned, to not die or
yeah,
to mourn death. We don't want to lose our loved ones, and we definitely don't want them to die tragically. It just feels so awful.
yeah,
But you're right, in spirit, that's a transition that is
yeah.
leaving a body that is no longer working. And so the
Mhm.
spirit's like, oh, that's my exit point. Time to go back. And so in spirit, it looks very logical, but they do, I think, understand our pain, and that's why they want to
Yeah.
be there for us and support us. And I'm
Mhm.
still, the way my path panned out after my dad's death, obviously there's a lot of things like the book that's coming out because of it, a book that he was supposed to write about his time in Vietnam and love story. So it's changed
Mm.
drastically now that
Yeah.
I'm writing it. But it is interesting where so many things have fallen into place because of his death. And and
Mm.
and I don't like that, because I would still prefer
I
that he
know.
was still here. And I would definitely
Yeah.
prefer, as any other human, that he did not die with pain and suffering. It was such a heinous crime.
Yes.
And I know I'm not the only one. There are many millions of people who have lost loved ones. It's interesting that it's the hardest pain is to watch a loved one suffer, right? Or
Yes.
think of a loved one suffering. Like
Yeah.
I would gladly take the place of any of my children, right? If they were going to go through pain and suffering, if I could go through it instead of them, right? We
Yes.
do that. We do not want to watch a loved one suffer.
No.
So I'm wondering, gosh, is that part of the lesson? Is that something I signed up
Mm.
for? Did my entire soul family up at, in that beautiful realm say, okay, listen up. Sorry, Dad, but
Yeah.
you're going to leave at the age of 48, and this is how it's
Yeah.
going down, right? And this is what's going
Mm.
to happen afterwards. And but I don't know. I really don't know, and I'll
Yeah.
find out one day I'll know.
Yeah.
God,
What?
I just heard him saying, "Oh boy, it was an exit point." He didn't know it was an exit point. Like,
Oh my gosh, Mayume. You know what? It's funny because your audio keeps going in and, like, not in and
does
out, but
it?
no, not your sound, not your voice, but it's like when you talk, it kind of goes muted. Like it kind of
Oh,
mutes, like there's this
interesting.
little static. And so when you said that, it kind of went non-staticky when just at the same time when you said, he's talking to me. It's like when you're talking, the audio,
Interesting.
the
Okay.
microphone did that.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm not
Yeah.
describing it properly, but in my ear, it was like somebody else was talking, but you weren't talking.
Wow.
Yeah, that was
Weird.
really bizarre. Oh my God, I can't believe it came through in this moment. And we're
It's
talking
so
about,
weird. I know. I think he wants to set that straight. I'm just feeling all kinds of weird emotions right now and just tense, and
oh,
I just feel him right here where he always stands. He always stands
yes,
right here.
it's right there.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh. Okay. And I was having troubles with my mic in my meditation meetup this morning, so I'm wondering, has it been like that the whole time, kind of in and out
No,
when I'm
not in
talking?
and out. It's just like this static in the
Oh,
background.
oh
And so but I think they're not mowing the lawn out there
no,
anymore.
but the fan
Yeah.
on my computer is going like
Oh,
crazy.
that's what it is. Okay.
You can hear that?
Yeah.
Like
You're
okay.
a little
I
bit. I think, I don't know. It's maybe it's, and we have a weird electrical shit happen all the time on
Because my
our
computer,
podcast.
my laptop fan is on fire, is going
Oh,
full
it's
speed.
so hot. Yeah. Oh my
Yeah,
God. So maybe that's what it is. We'll have to see in the recording. Sorry,
I know.
listeners. We're just
Yes,
like,
checking it
it's
out.
a
But that
very
is weird.
interesting. So hearing your dad right now, what does that mean for you? What does that, how does that,
Well, it means I think that we are human up until we leave our bodies. Right?
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So as soon as our soul leaves our body, we don't feel pain.
yeah,
I'm sure there's confusion. I understand spirit saying I was confused. Um, and that's the biggest thing, that there's a little bit of confusion. Sometimes they show me the view from hovering up above, right, under their body or the scene. They'll show me that, but most of the time they'll say I saw my loved ones. Sometimes I've had plenty show me angels and guides with wings, but that don't have names, that have trumpets
mm,
playing like music.
wow,
So it's like a welcoming home kind of a ceremony. Um,
mm,
so I don't know why it's not true for everyone, but there's a lot uh, people who have that, who share that in
really,
spirit. Mhm.
yeah,
Uh, anyway, I think the exit points is really interesting because I do believe we have more than one,
yeah,
right, in our soul contract, meaning like here's an option, here's an exit point that I could take, but
yeah,
maybe if my lesson has been learned, I'll take it. If my lesson hasn't,
mm,
I'll see about the next one. Maybe there was a car accident, but you hadn't learned your lesson, so you got to survive that car, or a heart attack, whatever it is, right? So that's why I'm thinking with my dad, I would love to ask and say,
oh,
was that divinely planned? And I don't even know if it would be helpful to say, yes, your father's murder was planned. I don't know. I'm like,
yeah,
ugh, that's hard. That's hard to
it's
hear
hard.
too, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
I think
Yeah.
I'm better off not knowing. But the sacred contract stuff,
Mm.
I think can help. Are you sensing something?
Oh yeah, no, yeah, I just keep getting like all this weird energy. I keep hearing yes, 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 yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes. Sorry,
yeah,
and it
right.
doesn't necessarily mean into your question, but it's
No,
like it's like I've never had this before, where because my yes is down my arms. I hear this like I get these like shivers all the way from my shoulders down to my fingertips, and as you were asking questions and talking and going through, I just felt like wave, yes, wave, yes, wave, yes, wait,
hmm,
it's very,
yeah,
very, very fast and frantic. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that's also just saying, I love you, I'm with you, and I'm fine, I'm
yeah.
good. I keep hearing all that stuff.
I hear all that stuff.
Yeah, it's really sorry, I interrupted you with my
No, this is
waves
all
of
good. Well, that's good. It's funny because my yeses are my truth shivers that I call them, and they come. I always feel them on my arms. Always the chills,
oh
shivers, and
wow.
the goosies. Always is
Oh
my
wow.
yes. It's as a validation. So yes,
Yes.
it says yes,
Yes.
yes, and
I
sometimes
love
it's a
that.
fuck yes.
Oh
Sometimes
my
it's like
God. Yes.
yes, hard yes.
Wow.
Sometimes it's very subtle, like yep. There's a yep,
Yeah.
yes, and yes. So,
Oh, I love it.
and I feel I'm too attached. So I like that you're getting the validation.
Oh,
Even though I
yeah.
hear my dad say it, I believe it. I
I
believe it.
know.
But I also know, I'm also hearing that there was worry and concern about leaving us.
Yeah,
Can't stop
absolutely.
the kids. That's the whole. But
Yeah.
anyway, so sacred contracts. What about animals? What about fur babies,
Oh,
spirit
I love
animals?
it.
Do they have contracts?
Yes, I believe so. I believe so. One of the reason why I say I think yes, yes, yes is in her book, she talks about we are all connected to every soul and every being. Like imagine that. Just to, like just take a moment and think like every soul, like we are connected to, right? Every soul. And so I believe animals have souls, right? I believe that
I do too.
I believe
Def-
plants do. Like,
I
so
do too.
so
I do
when you
too.
ask that question, I'm like, yes, absolutely. And I think about my little Wally. Yeah, I was terrified of dogs, terrified all the way up until I was like a fucking mid 50-year-old woman who couldn't go to like girls' nights at my friend's house who had dogs because it was terrifying for me. It was very debilitating. Um, and then we met little Wally, and Mina, of course, was a big catalyst too, because my Mina loves dogs and wanted a dog when she fucking came
I
out of my
remember.
vagina. Was like,
Yeah.
dog might have been her first word. Jeez Louise. So she was very, very strong influence too. But little Wally he needed to be a part of our family. And
Yeah.
you know him well. He is absolutely connected to our contract, and maybe to help me get over this crippling fear,
Yeah.
that
Absolutely. He
is,
came into your life during a time. Yeah. I remember.
yeah,
He
yeah,
always barks
just,
at every time I see him. Bark.
oh, he's so excited to see you. And
Oh,
then
I
he
don't
wags
know.
his tail. Oh, he wags his tail.
Does he? I don't think so. I
Yes,
think
he
he's like, it's
does.
like a warning, like, who are you? I don't know what he sees
Oh,
behind me, but I'm like,
oh,
oh, he
maybe
always barks.
that's it. I bet that's it because he knows you really well. Like when you came over quite a bit for my healing stuff. Yeah, Mayume would come over during my breast cancer journey and just be like, hey girl, hey, I got some tuning forks for you.
I
Oh, bye. Hey girl,
don't.
I got this essential oil for your boobs. I love you. Bye. My little
Oh, God.
angel, my beautiful contract.
Funny,
It's
funny.
my favorite
Yeah.
contract ever. But yeah, I don't know. I do think that. Do you believe that too with animals?
I do. They have a soul for sure, and they definitely show up in readings. That's awesome.
Oh
And
yeah.
I think, and they're with the loved ones too. It's interesting now because I think, okay, so are the domesticated animals, the pets have a soul. I believe all living, breathing, yes, creatures, organisms are living. But the animals, I feel like, have a soul. Their eyes are the windows to their soul, and I think they are here to help us too. Now,
Mm.
I don't know about, the ones that are out in Africa that are eating other animals. Are they really, part of humans' lessons? I mean, maybe. I think they're part of the earth, and I think our interaction with them, but I'm not sure how far it carries. The beetles that are crawling on the ground, do they each have a soul? And said beetles. Some people think I'm talking about the rock band, but like actual
Yeah.
little black beetles or ants, do they have souls?
Yeah.
And what are they doing? And when we kill a bug or a spider, did we smash someone's soul? And they're like, oh my God, I gotta go back. I
Yeah.
there's all those
Or
little
maybe,
kind of
yeah.
questions
Or
that
maybe that was part of their contract
part of their contract of
to,
I'm gonna be.
yeah. Because when
Mm,
I know when I crush little suckers unintentionally, I feel really bad about it. I feel like, oh,
sorry.
I'm so sorry about that. There's so that what it does is
Yes,
it brings out this compassion in me. This like this piece of like, oh, you are still this life that
I
I just fucking obliterated, and that was not okay. And so then it makes me more mindful of the little things
Yeah.
around me, so I mean, it just, when you think about like, oh, maybe, I mean, and ants, like beetles, they all have these really powerful structures, right?
Yeah.
These like of hives and the way they
Queen.
worker ants. And I mean, there's just so much
Oh, I know.
power there that I just feel like, I think it's all just so connected,
Yeah.
even the
I do too.
littlest things,
Right.
yeah, these little contracts that are, um, and I think it's the contract that you have for yourself, like that your journey, your evolution, your path, to become, the person that you are really meant to be, or you desire to be on this planet.
Yeah.
And why do you and I resonate with light workers? Why do we want to be light workers? And why do we want to do this work, right? Where people can put us, can ridicule us. We're putting ourselves in
Right.
positions where
No
people
kidding.
think we're like crazy
Yeah.
or loony, right? Like we probably would have been hung,
I know.
in another time, right? So, I wonder, like, wow, like, thank God we're doing this work in a time where people can just think we're fucking crazy and move on, or, you know, um, but, we are putting ourselves in a position of inquiry and ridicule, all the time, but this is my mission. Like, this
Absolutely.
is what we're meant. I mean, there is nothing that makes me feel more at home than this work,
This work. I
other
agree.
than being a mother,
Yep. Yep. Yes, me
right?
too. Me too. I really do. I finally feel like, oh my gosh, I found something I'm supposed to be doing and everything
Yes,
lined up
I
right
know.
easily. And so I just thought, oh my gosh. And something I was yearning and wasn't sure. It was just not in front of me for the longest time. And when I look back, yet I was seeing spirit every flipping night, just
Oh my
babies
gosh.
out of me. I'm thinking, oh my gosh, this totally makes sense. But I would have known it without the help of others like you to show me what my path looked like. Well, have I ever considered this and that? So I think we all kind of come into our path at some point. Maybe we deny it or don't believe it, or sometimes we're right on it. Some people get
Yeah.
right in sync and they just take
Yes.
off and
I
they're
love it.
fulfilling that contract. So, oh,
Yeah.
I wanted to tell you this. I don't know if I've ever told you this. So the night, um, so we were working together. You were helping me. You were my life coach for, I think it was like 6 months. I think, right? I
Yeah.
think so. Uh, Um,
Oh.
and and I was stepping into my work and my business, finally, really stepping into it. And I had the authentic gathering, authentic gatherings party with you and your,
Yes.
yeah, at the time your business partners in the beautiful barn, right, or shed.
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yes.
that night, uh, I was the night that I found out about your, your breast cancer.
Yeah.
Is when you told me. I'm almost
Yeah.
positive. And I had given you
It was.
guys a
I
little,
just found out that I was diagnosed that morning.
yes, yes, okay.
Yeah.
And here
Mm-hmm.
you were still doing this, right? And I want to share with you that I was like, oh gosh. Well, because as soon as you told me about authentic gatherings, and I think I shared with you my name before you told me you, because I remember when I shared I was going to
Yes.
go with guided gatherings, you're like, oh, you were
Oh
kind of like, wait a
shit.
second. Yeah,
Yeah.
oh shit. And I was
How
like,
do we
what?
do that?
How
What
did it,
happened?
yeah,
Yeah, I know.
how happened? And I didn't know about authentic gatherings. And you told me, and I was, oh,
Yes.
shoot. But I knew there were separate things, whatever.
Oh yeah.
But I had always felt, and maybe this is part of my contract, that I was supposed to work with you. In some form, some way. And I was like, oh my gosh, I don't want to, I like those other women, but I feel like I'm supposed, how is she going to work with me? Like, how is this going to work if she's over there working with them? She's supposed to work. I really felt like that. You were
Oh my
supposed to work with
gosh.
me. I'm supposed to
Oh.
do something with you. And so that night, I remember finding about your news, and I remember just having this weird sensation going,
kind of feeling bummed, like, but not scared. Like I wasn't scared. Like, oh no. I was like, this is gonna sound so horrible, Manjeet.
Oh my God, Mayume,
I
this is
I
hilarious.
was
I've never heard this, people. This is
I know.
amazing.
I was like, well, that's gonna delay a lot of things. I just remember thinking everything's gonna be delayed. Uh,
Oh my
right?
God, that was your concern?
My
Like
concern was
our path
now it's
together?
gonna be our time together is gonna be delayed
Oh my
instead of
God.
starting now. And
Oh
and
my
that's why I felt this
gosh.
calling. I mean, you and I've told you this. Went through months of everything, everywhere I went, I had things that said, Manjeet, Manjeet, that I had to get for you. That I
Oh
was
my
like, oh,
God.
that's for her. Oh, that's for her.
Oh,
Oh, I have to buy this for
bless
Manjeet.
your
And
heart.
it was just all these things coming at me that I needed to get you. And then I
Oh.
needed to see you, and I was told I was supposed to help you. I was told I was supposed to do this, this, this. And I
Oh.
followed everything. Like, okay, I'll do it. Because we were supposed to do this, and God damn it, sorry, C word. I don't have time for that shit. You're delaying everything. And again,
Oh
I
my
didn't want to
gosh.
tell you, like, I don't want you to work with them because you're supposed to be working with me. And so that night, I'll never ever, I remember hearing this
That
and
is
just
so
being like,
crazy.
what? Okay. I'm like, okay, well, let's get through this then. Let's go.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm
That's
just,
fine.
that makes me so emotional.
I know. So I didn't mean to bring
Oh.
emotion,
No,
but
I love it. These are happy tears because
yes.
it
Well,
was such a hard time.
it was a hard time. But I knew, I could
Mhm.
see it. I could feel it. I just knew it. Whether my guys are telling me, it's like, no, we're supposed to work together. So Bentley, you're going to make it.
Oh
And
my
no doubt.
gosh, I love that so
Yeah.
much. I
I have
love our
no
sacred
doubt.
contract.
Yeah.
Yeah,
How about that?
I
I was
remember.
like so mad. Like, what do you mean she's doing this authentic gathering? Sorry. So it was like spirit put in front of you the word gatherings. It's supposed to be guided gatherings. Sorry. You got
With
it all
me.
wrong. With
I
me.
know, my God. I'm dying. I'm a fucking mess right now. So
I'm sorry.
I'm so glad it's not a recording that you can actually watch because that's making me laugh and cry at the same time because it was that's makes me so happy because that was the one thing you knew. And I remember the one time you were leaving my house and I said, I'm not gonna die, am I?
Oh my God.
And she started laughing, people.
Sorry.
She, she laughed my
Oh,
ass
I was like, I'm
like
sorry. I didn't mean to.
out the door. I was like, but it's like this fear, right? This horrible fear. And
Yes.
I
Very
never
real.
said it out loud.
Very
And it's
real.
not something you would ever ask anybody because it's really a douchey thing to ask. But I was like, I'm I'm like, I'm not gonna die, am I? And she starts fucking howling, laughing in my doorway. And she goes, well, we're all gonna die, Manjeet. Like it's going to happen, you know? And I was like, yeah, okay, touche. Okay, now, okay, that's true.
I had to
And then she
answer this
goes,
shit.
yeah, but then you said it's not an exit point. So don't worry, we got work to do. That's what you kept saying. We have work to do. And now I understand. I didn't know that you had that. Oh my gosh. I'm
All
just
this time I knew it. I could see it. I felt it. And so, and then when I got that news, I was like, well, damn it. Now it's going to be delayed. Everything's going to be delayed. So let's hurry
everything's
it up.
delayed.
So let's hurry it up. Let's get her healed, people. Let's go. And
My
that's
gosh.
exactly what we did, what everyone did, what you
We
did.
did do that.
Got you
Yeah.
healed.
I'm
Yeah.
so grateful. I'm so grateful. And I knew like it was just so the way it was very serendipitous, the way, you know, um, and I couldn't it was weird because when other people said, "Oh yeah, man, you're okay," even my oncologist, I would be like, "Okay, yeah, there's some weight there, obviously, that I'm going to be okay and things are good." Um, but then when you said it, it was like I could hear you, and I think that is one way we know we have a sacred contract with someone is when that person that has this sacred contract with you, it is like on a different level of
Mm.
understanding and belief. Like
And frequency.
and yes, it's a different frequency. Like my oncologist who, like saw my pathology reports and, was like, man, you're cancer free. Like you're done. Like we're just doing radiation now to like make sure shit, doesn't any possibility, kind of blah, blah, blah. But I was like, I need to hear it from Mayume.
Yeah.
I know she's not a doctor,
I know.
but it's like the
Still
weirdest,
so scared.
most,
I know.
yeah, I needed to
You
hear it
and
from
yeah,
everybody. But I
yes.
think that is one of the biggest clues, right? That you are in a contract with someone when their words resonate with you at a higher frequency and have more magnitude and power. It's like then you have to pay attention. Wow, this person. And it can also be bad stuff. Like your sacred contract with me is obviously very positive and helps me evolve into my life's mission, healing, all that good stuff, the evolution of the planet. Like that's one of our big fucking goals. But there are also, I think, sacred contracts that we have with people that do say things in a negative way that bring out a reaction to us
Yeah.
that is
Because
also a catalyst for us to fucking wake up and go,
yeah. Yes.
I don't like that. I don't like that frequency. And I need to learn how to tell you to fuck off.
Yeah.
I need to learn that, in this life. All these
Yeah.
negative
Yes.
No,
No, that's right.
that is part
Those
of
are
the
part of the
contract.
lesson. Yeah. Part of those
With
lessons.
with these
And
really toxic people that you don't know what
yeah.
toxicity is until they're in your face. And then that's a wake up call. I think that's a realization as a human, to say, whoa, this is not okay. And then
What
you got to
about
find the courage and voice to say it. Yeah.
exactly the part of the lesson? How do you do that?
Yes.
And what about those lessons that don't get learned and then you carry them? So you create a pattern from life to life, which I
Mhm.
have seen and
Yeah.
heard and witnessed in past life regressions of a pattern. And then maybe someone who was your enemy in a past life is now your mother, or
Yes.
is now your
Yes.
sister or your husband or something. And you have to work through that
Trauma.
relationship. There's that
Yes.
whatever it is that those two souls need to work through. Part of now the
Yeah.
contract. Again, I always see the huddle. I call it the soul huddle.
Yes. Yeah. I
Everyone
love it.
huddling and they got the papers flying, they got pencils. They got, okay, you're going to do this. And it's like writing script, right? We got to
Mhm.
play. Everyone's got their roles. Okay, everyone all set. We know what we're going to do, right? Okay,
Yes.
hot. Let's go. Break.
Yeah.
No, it's break.
Birth. Yeah. Here we
Birth.
go. Let's get
Go.
birthed out. Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, I love it. Yeah. Definitely, I love that you're bringing up like the patterns, those things that we really want to learn, but we haven't learned. And then we try to create a contract with in a different way. And maybe we're not picking up on it, again. So we have to revamp it. Okay, that didn't fucking work. Maybe I need
Yeah.
to like put a real asshole in
Yeah.
your face to, really get you
Oh,
to say,
God, shake it up.
to find your voice, right? Or whatever
Yes.
it is that your messaging
Yep.
is. Yeah, it's a really
Yes.
great, it's going to be a really fun circle where I have a guided meditation that is really kind of interesting. It almost feels like because they're all channeled, but it kind of feels like it's I don't know, it's almost like a shamanic journey or something. It doesn't feel like a guided
Ooh,
meditation. It feels very different that I'll
journey.
be
Yeah.
sharing with the
Mm,
intuitive women at this time.
right.
And I'm just kind of letting it go because I feel like whatever has to come out or however it's going to come out, they're usually about 7 to 10 minutes, so they're really quick and easy. But it's very interesting how I think it'll be a good opportunity to talk to people about really what are the relationships in your life that are really great, and
Yeah.
honor that contract. But then what is it about the relationships that are really difficult for you or have been difficult for you? What do we learn from that,
What's the lesson in it? Yeah. What are we supposed to learn?
Yeah.
Because I think, like, what if once we learn it, will we feel it? Will we feel
Mhm.
that shift? And all of a
Yeah.
sudden, you're like, oh my God.
Do you think we do? I
Um, I, I don't know. Well, I'm going to say yes, only because of the way I shifted with
Yeah.
my forgiveness and release of my dad's murder, because I feel different. And there's no doubt about it that I released it. There's no doubt about it that I'm in a neutral zone where
Yeah.
her name and thought of that day and all of that doesn't trigger me anymore. Like it,
Mm.
I swear on the Holy Bible, it doesn't trigger me. Where
Wow.
it did terribly.
Yeah.
And I couldn't stop it. Like I could get just all kinds of gunk,
Yes.
grossness. And so, excuse me. I do feel like I had a shift.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what I would call it. Like my soul forgave her soul.
Yeah. I feel that. I felt that. Yeah. And I feel like Archangel Michael wanted you to do that, right? It was like that's why he was coming forward, like, no, no, this is for you. I keep seeing him again. Like right now, he's really present, you know, it's for that.
I mean, hello, who is it? All right, someone didn't mean to interrupt. Sorry. And
Oh, that's okay.
I loved what you were saying, but someone was knocking vigorously.
Oh, no. Is everybody okay?
I think so.
Yeah. Somebody's knocking. I think spirit's knocking.
Oh,
Knock, knock, knock. No, yeah. It was funny because it was right when I was talking about Archangel Michael.
yes,
And then you said, who's knocking on the door? Like it was like, it's so funny because
that's true.
he's coming very, very strongly. He keeps saying that, you know, that was a big part of it was that severance of
Mm,
her, of that forgiveness,
mm,
a soul
mm.
forgiveness. And the thing about, I think, soul forgiveness and with these contracts, um, people don't understand why we do that, why we go through why we forgive these atrocities, but it's really on a spiritual level. And so the irrationality of it on earth, people will never understand that. Some people
Yeah,
that don't get the concept of my soul honors your soul. I release you because then I'm free.
correct. Because I was not doing it for her. I was doing
No,
it for
for
me.
you. Yes. And I think that's kind of what the sacred contracts to me is about. To me, it's like going one step higher, looking at things from a very, very big perspective,
Yeah,
like very broad, bigger than you can ever imagine, and like I know in the book, she always, she says, Carolyn says, like life is like a blink of an eye. Like it's really like our soul, like this life is like a tiny little parentheses in the lifeline of our existence,
yeah,
and so when you think about that, going up a little higher and saying, my soul sees your soul, I release you because I don't want to take this to the next level. I don't need you in my life in the next level.
right.
I'm good. I got
Good.
this,
Yeah, I don't
and
want to
maybe,
harbor.
yeah,
Yeah, nobody
no,
wants to carry that around. And some people do because it serves them. They carry a lot of anger
yeah, yeah.
and
And that,
just like, just that, yeah, I want to, yes, carry it with
mhm,
them.
yeah. And that
I
anger
needed
morphs into lots of other
lots of
dis-ease,
other,
right? It morphs into
yes,
lots of other addictive behavior, you know, depression, anxiety,
yes,
all these things, right, rattled into one. So it's
violence.
really, yeah, yeah. So it's a very esoteric concept. You're right. It really is this really big umbrella of like, what's really happening? What's
Yeah,
really going on here? Which I kind of love. I love that there might be things in play that I'm not seeing, and I want to be clear in my seeing. I want to see these things.
yeah, love it.
Yeah, I love
So
it.
true.
Yeah. So it should be a lot of fun. It's a really cool concept. And I wanted to thank you for sharing such a vulnerable our contracts, like what things that we've
Oh, no,
endured,
yeah. Oh,
and how they could possibly be contracts that have helped us evolve and grow versus kept us small.
no
Um,
kidding. No kidding. And
yeah.
here's to that. So here's to everyone taking a look at, what possible contracts you have. And what lessons do you think that are showing up for you in life? And I would say like where there's resistance, take a look at
Yeah,
those areas because that's probably where there's a
absolutely.
lesson. Again, if you're not sure, you can do a reading with us and we can help you with
Oh,
that.
girl. Yes.
I like the vantage point. I like changing your vantage point and
Yeah.
getting up above it uh, and looking down. I like the higher I go from. I had to take my dad's murder where I would see it, and I'd have to go rise above it. Literally, I would make it black and white, no color, and I
Mm,
would make myself go further and further and further away. So like now I just see
mm,
the trees. Now I just see the land. Now I just see the
yeah.
continent. Now I just see the planet, the earth, and then I was space, and it made it so small that
Yeah. Vantage point. Yeah. Yeah, I love that. It's a very that's a very high spiritual perspective, it's when we do change our vista, our perspective, right? We can kind of say um there is something also about looking down, like
yeah,
it's kind of a
rising
power,
above.
it's a bit of a power move, right? And that
Yeah,
as earthly beings, I think we need that sometimes when we're not feeling powerful. So that vista, that looking down, it's kind of like I used to do that when I would write my exams, in school. I would my sister told me that, Belby, she would say, you just look down at that piece of paper. You fucking dominate that piece of paper.
yeah.
You look down at it and get it
Nice job,
done.
Belby.
Yes. But
Yeah,
that same concept of like gaining your power back, looking at
yeah.
from, with new eyes, right? Like, yeah, I love that. It's a really, I don't know the word is, it feels very freeing to me when I think about contracts. I feel like this concept of sacred
I could see
contracts,
that.
it feels a
Well,
lot like contract, freedom to me. Like,
yeah, yeah, I could see that.
okay, yeah,
Okay. Like everything's divinely planned, so maybe I'm not, uh, well, we're still held responsible, but maybe we don't, knowing that we don't have control, complete control.
yeah,
I don't know how to say that. I mean, we do and we don't. In a way, I feel like things are divinely planned. Let's go with the flow, and just again, let's feel good. Let's stay in a high frequency vibe. Let's love one another, serve one another, and make sure and take care of ourselves. Self care, and then float down the river, life,
mm,
and see
yeah,
how where that sacred contract's supposed to lead you to. And
yeah.
maybe I mean, I'm only 52, so maybe I'm only 52 and I've had a lot happen so far, but who knows what's ahead? Like maybe I have some more lessons to learn that I'm not aware,
Oh, yeah.
that I haven't reached yet.
Yeah. I feel like
And
we
then,
do. I don't feel
yeah,
like it's ever really over, right? There's always going to
always
be,
some.
yeah. And I think that's part of the, part of the contracts is, it's an evolutionary process. It's not like you're ever really done. Like spiritual evolution doesn't just end right at,
Right.
And so it's like, okay, wow, I've broken through this space into this realm where I'm at a really high vibe. And then what is next? Maybe then, and I think, like, I know for me, the next move is just getting bigger with it,
Yeah.
like spreading this or sharing this, and that, I mean, maybe that's why, we do this fucking podcast, because
Yeah.
we want to create a ripple effect in the world. That's part of our contract, but you can't do that until you are healed. You're healing yourself, right?
Correct.
You're
Yeah.
awakening, you're kind of healing, you've kind of come to this vista, and then you're like, fuck yeah, let's talk about this shit. And
Yeah.
then, you create that, maybe that's like the next evolution, and then with that comes
Mm,
its own challenges, right? Like,
that's right.
so it's just, which can be good and bad, but
Okay.
they're all kind of geared to getting us back um, into this powerful place,
That's right. Getting this.
Well,
Okay, this
I,
was great. Thanks for sharing. Thanks for stepping up and being you. Soul contract.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, thank you. I'm so happy I have a soul contract with you. And I can't wait until we die and then I can make another soul contract with
I love it. I love it.
you. See what happens. We're
I
all
love
going
it.
to die, Manjeet.
That's right. We're all gonna
Yeah.
die. No one's getting out of this alive, people.
I
No one's getting
know.
out
I
of this
love
alive.
it. But until then, we have
Yeah.
each other
Yep.
and we have these beautiful listeners and we
Yep.
love you.
Love
And we
you,
love
light
you. We love
workers.
you. Yes, so
Okay.
much.
All right.
Thank you for having a contract with us. For
Yeah.
listening. Yes.
Awesome. Okay. Thanks,
Namaste,
everyone.
my sisters. I love you, Mayume.
Namaste. Love you, man.
Bye. Bye.